look at you, it's like I got the whole room on the tip of my finger, and I'm pointing it right back to you. When I look at you, it's like I got the whole universe, the whole universe.
Hey guys, how's it going? And welcome to the Morningstar Drive Artist Series. This is the third edition we have, and I hope you guys have really been enjoying this. We're going to meet artists from around the world, look at their craft and see how they're giving glory to God and how this actually happened. Where are we going today? Today we're going to America via Japan, and we've met him on the Sunday edition. Everyone, please welcome Aaron Aubry.
Yay, hello everyone. Yes, I am Aaron. I'm from the US, but I currently live in Japan. And yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about what I do to give glory, what my art is.
So this is going to be quite interesting one today because it's not going to be like the regular type of giving glory. Like all the artist series have been about music, and we think about artist series, we're thinking music, sculpture, painting, dancing. But I think this would probably be closest to dancing, but it's not. So kind of give us an introduction to the art that you do.
Okay, well, my art is, I actually have two in a sense. They're pretty closely linked. They are parkour and tricking. Now, to just make it very simple, parkour and tricking are pretty much movement-based urban sports. Parkour, you go around scaling things like walls, when you clear obstacles. And the premise is to get from point A to point B as fast as possible. But people use it also for just to be cool, to like do stylish like movements, and it's really about exploring the ability that the human body has with regard to movement. And tricking is very similar too. It's not so much about clearing obstacles or jumping over things or doing flips off of things. It's more about building momentum with your body, with your bodily movements. And as you build momentum, you can link those like moves into other moves, into bigger tricks. And it's a lot about style, showing off the abilities, the movements that you have. And when you look at the two, tricking is definitely more beautiful with regard to the finesse or the technique. But parkour looks really just smooth and powerful with regard to how fast you can move from one point to another. So yeah, those are the two things that I've been exploring. Yeah.
Cool. So can you give us some examples? Let's take a look at our first video. Just give me some simple example of what it looks like. All right, so that's pretty cool. So you did like these handsprings, or you did like in the beginning you're rolling and then doing a handstand. Like what did you just do there?
Basically, I just did like a backward tumble, and I just like went into like a handstand. And the goal was not just to like kind of do a bunch of random things. I really wanted to practice connecting various types of movements or like skills together. So I started off from like a back tumble going to like a handstand, and then I brought my legs down. I did another tumble, and then once I came up to the handstand the second time, I actually went into a back handspring, and I did 3 back handsprings.
How long did it take you to just learn how to do that?
I don't really know. Like I just kind of did the back handsprings. For the back handspring, sorry. For the tumble, it was fairly easy. Like you just tumble backward, you just go up on your hands.
Oh yeah, okay, that sounds easy. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Thank you. Like any moron could do that. All right. I'm just like, okay, that's the easiest one.
Okay. Well, for me, it was kind of easy, but the back handsprings, it took me from when I actually started this like art of movement. It took me, I think, 2 or 3 months, and it wasn't 2 or 3 months of continuous practice per se. It was more that there came a point when I felt comfortable enough doing a backflip, and I wanted to also learn how to do a back handspring, but it's scary. It's scary to just jump back and throw your hands back. So actually, at one of the parkour gyms that I would usually train at, they have like a big matted area. So I practiced there first. I practiced in a safe place. And I practiced just getting comfortable going backward with my hands.
Right.
And then once I got comfortable with that, I actually received advice from one of the coaches to not put in as much power, because for back handsprings, you don't want to put in too much power. Otherwise, you're just going to shoot way back.
Right.
So I learned the technique for how to do it. And then, yeah, I just practiced it. And like within a day, I was able to get pretty comfortable with it. And then it was just a matter of connecting them, which took a little bit more practice, but yeah.
My question to you is, how did you first get into this in the first place?
Oh, okay. I love this. I love telling this story because this is where like my faith comes into play. This is where my relationship with God really, you can see how beneficial it has been for me. So I had always been athletic, and I did like track and field when I was in junior high school, college. I broke a high school record when I was in high school. It's since been broken again by someone else. I broke a university record that still stands, which is great. But yeah, I was always like pretty athletic and was able to do a lot. But even when I did track and field, and also soccer for a time, I never felt that I was able to use my athleticism to the fullest. I felt like I have so much more potential, but like I'm just running like this. That's not enough, right? So I wanted to find something that I could do to be more athletic, or to like really just freely use my body, freely like explore the capabilities of my body, and like the world of movement. And I was really wondering, like, okay, well, how am I going to get that? And what am I supposed to do with my life too? Like, oh, there's so many questions I don't have answers to. And it was that question came during a Sunday service, actually.
Oh, wow.
And the way it came about was there's like a time when we all give offering in the service, right? We're like, we're thankful to God for how he's protected us. And we express that thanks, of course, not just through money, but of course, giving from what we have earned is a way to be thankful, right? So during that time of singing this offering song, I saw all these musicians in this video, and they were like playing their instruments, and I thought, I was so amazed and in a sense really kind of jealous, because I felt, wow, all these musicians, they have their thing, they have that art that really they shine in. This person plays the tuba, this person plays the trombone, this person plays the flute or the violin, and it's beautiful, and that's their thing. They can do that professionally, but I don't have that. I'm just a teacher. Like,
I'm just a teacher.
That's not a good thing. So I was kind of jealous. Like, it was a positive jealousy, but it was like, oh, like kind of heart aching, like kind of jealousy, right? Oh, what is my thing? And so I prayed about it. I was like, God, what is my thing? There's got to be something I can invest in. Something I can do like that. And then that night I got heat stroke. Or heat exhaustion. But that's important. Okay, that's an important part of the story. Okay. That's an important part of the story, because after I couldn't go to sleep. Like that night, I couldn't sleep because I had heat exhaustion. So I was like, what do I do? And like I was like, wow, maybe I should just watch YouTube videos. For some reason, that's what came in my mind. So I did, and I went into like the parkour videos during that time. And I started watching parkour videos, and oh, this is really cool. And I was like, hold on, maybe I could do this. And then, so the next day I did. I went out and I did parkour for the first time.
Well, but what do you mean? Like, you just did it? Like,
yeah, I
no training?
I watched some videos of like people explaining like basic parkour movements and some of like the key points of parkour, like about like balance, how that's important.
Right.
And like where it's kind of safe to do it, things you could, goals you could, work toward, how you could train regularly to build strength and whatnot. And I was like, whoa, that's so cool. And I already had a lot of experience in athletics and in movement, so I was like, yeah, I'll just go out and try it. So I went out and I tried it.
Okay, so do you have actually a video of you doing parkour?
I have. It's not the first video it's not the first day that I did it, but I have a video from the first week that I did parkour. So we could watch that if
All right. All right, let's take a look at this video of his first, one of the videos of you doing parkour, right?
Yeah.
All right, so that's like a basic parkour movements, or what would you say for that one?
Yeah, there are a lot of very basic movements in that one. There are vaults, which is you just like vault yourself or pretty much clear an obstacle. I did some scaling of walls, very basic, very short wall. I did
Mm.
scale of that. Um,
It almost feels like just the feeling because it looks really fun. Like you know, when we're little kids, we're just like "Rah," running, jumping around, and doing stuff in the dirt. But
uh-huh.
this is like what adults do, like taking that level to an adult level,
Yes.
jumping, climbing things, spinning around, and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
So how about for that? That's not your first time. That can't be your first time.
No, that was the first week though. I think that was day 3 or day 4 of me doing parkour. Yeah.
Mm.
So
Day 4.
I think so. Yeah, it was around then. Yeah, it was definitely within the first week. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Okay. And then and how long? And if it's 3 to 4 days, how was that? All you're practicing for 3 days to get to that point?
Yeah. This is the funny thing about my journey into parkour is that when I started, I was so on fire and passionate for parkour that it didn't matter if it was raining. It didn't matter if I had worked overtime that night at work. It didn't matter
Mm.
how tired I was at work that day or whatever. Because I was just so passionate about it, I would go out. Like the moment I get
Wow.
home, maybe I pray or something, eat a little snack, and then I'm out on the streets, jumping over
How
stuff.
long was that passion for? Like you went every single day.
Yeah, I literally went every single day for almost 2 whole weeks. But the passion didn't die. My body gave out pretty much. I had to rest for like 3 weeks or something like that. 2 3 weeks
Right.
after like the it was like 2 weeks straight of just parkour every single day. My body couldn't take it. I was
Mm.
aching so much, so I had to like take a break for like 2 3 weeks or something like that. And then I went back out again and started doing it again. Yeah, but the passion stayed for quite a while. As I get busy and as I have other responsibilities and things to prepare for, like that passion or that energy gets put into other places. But the love for parkour and tricking, like the movement itself, hasn't gone away.
So okay, so this is right after you realized when you said you started getting into it.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. So you were thinking at that time, what can I do as a professional? And
Hmm.
then the day after you started this.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay, so this is pretty intense because that's where you started. Everything started with parkour.
Yeah.
And you said you did that for like 3 months?
I did. Well, I mean, I'm still doing parkour. I just have been a bit busier. But yeah,
Okay. And so then you couldn't do it every day.
yeah, of course not. Like I realized that like that passion is good, but with that passion, I really needed to manage my health well. I needed to have a balance. Otherwise, my body would just kind of give way. So
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, well, I've seen some videos on YouTube of what you call like the parkour mistakes.
Yeah.
And you see some brutal like people being, like running into a pole, hitting the wall, and scraping their knees, falling over, falling into the water and stuff like that too. So it is pretty heavy duty, right?
Yeah, it is.
What was the biggest injury you had in the beginning?
Thankfully, I haven't had an injury.
Oh, really? Not at all.
Not at all. I
So
have
no
not.
scrapes or bruises.
No, there's times when like certain like joints, like my ankle would be hurting, or like because I just used it too much, wore it out, or something. But no like actual injury to the point that like I was like bleeding really badly, or like I broke something. No.
Okay. Well, thank God for that.
Yeah. Really.
Yeah, because I couldn't imagine how much like injuries you could go through doing something this. It is dangerous if you think about it. You're climbing
Mhm.
up big thing, taking, jumping down, rolling on in the concrete and stuff like that too.
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah.
So how did it evolve into like tricking?
Um, I think the main reason why I got into tricking was actually because of one of the people I trained with at the parkour gym. So at the parkour gym, many different kinds of people go, and there was this other guy. He lives not in the same city as me. He's like a bit further away. But he's also into like movement, and he was more on the tricking side, like doing like moves. I could show you a video a bit later, but it's a move called like a butterfly twist. I have a video that we can look at. Also, there's just a bunch of other moves. I don't have videos of me doing some of the moves, but there were a bunch of other tricky moves that he was practicing at the time that we were both at the gym. And I was like, whoa, that's so cool. What? Like, because it's more than just like jumping over things. Like, it's primarily about flips and momentum and just like all these beautiful skills that you can just throw out at any time. And when I saw him training that, and when he taught me a few basics and I started to like try it out, I was like, this is so awesome. So I kind of got into it because of someone else who was already into it. And I added to that.
And when did it get to a point where you're like, when you felt like you were really giving glory to God?
That actually came when I had the opportunity to give glory through parkour. That was actually an opportunity that came to me, like explicitly, to give glory through parkour. And the way that happened was I would just train on my own and whatnot, and I had fun. But for my church, we had like an English service every month. And they were going to have a song, like a praise song that was sung by our church members. And in the video, during like the interlude, they wanted to put something there. And one of the organizers for that English service asked me, hey, Aaron, I heard you're doing parkour. Could you make like a 25-second parkour, like compilation or video that we can put into that, into the interlude for the praise song? And I was like, yeah. I was like, yes, the day has come to offer glory through parkour, like explicitly. So I actually prayed about it, and I received the inspiration to go out before work one day, like after like praying early in the morning at the pre-dawn. Like I received the inspiration to go out like without sleeping, go and do like this 25-second parkour line. I organized like the camera angles and everything. I figured out the moves I was gonna do. And I took the whole video and I sent it over, and the organizer was like, wow, this is amazing. And so she used that in the interlude for that praise song.
Wow. Can we see that interlude?
Yeah, I think I still have it. Let me look on here. I should still have it. Yeah, in my.
All right, cool. Let's take a look at this interlude. All right, so that was 25 seconds, and that was something ridiculous. I'm looking at that like, that's. I don't think anyone normal can do that. That is so crazy what you just did for 25 seconds. How long did it take for you to record all that?
It took me about 40 to 45 minutes to record everything. Like,
wow,
I had to take multiple shots, making sure I had the right timing, people weren't passing by. And I had to move the camera each time to like get the right angle and then connect all the movements together.
Oh, wow. And then this was done for giving glory to God. When was this GGG?
This was, I believe it was in, it was the middle to the end of October, I believe is when it was. Because it was just getting cold.
Last year.
Yeah, last year.
Oh, so it's the month of giving glory to God.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. And like for you, do you have like any stories behind it where you're giving glory to God or anything?
Yeah. Okay. So the biggest story behind that one, there are two technically. One is from before it and one is from after it. But the story before it was kind of, as I explained a little bit ago, I wasn't intending to go out that morning. Like I did this like after praying at the pre-dawn. And I wasn't going to. I usually like after I pray early in the morning, I just go back to sleep and like just pray for the day. But I felt like, I can't just go back to sleep. I gotta go out and do something, and I needed to record that video, right? So I hadn't decided a time to record it, but I felt like, oh, this is the time I need to go. So instead of going to sleep, I went out at like 6 a.m. changed my clothes. I'm like, what am I doing? And I went out. I was like, but it's for glory to God, so let me just give it a shot. So I went out and like I got the inspiration exactly how I should like film it or what I can do. I got all the angles and everything, the location. The location I actually realized existed like just a few days before that. Like
Oh,
as I was
wow.
coming back from a field trip with my students, it just like came up on the right side of the road, and I was like, I looked at it and like, you know when you look at something, you're like, wow, that I feel like this is meaningful. I don't know why. I feel like there's some reason why I'm looking at this right now. I don't know if you've ever had
Mm,
that,
yeah.
but that
No,
happened
I
to
think we've
me.
all had that experience. Like, wait, there's something there. Yeah.
Yeah. So that happened to me, and I was sitting on the right side of the bus on the way back, and I was like, why am I sitting on the right side of the bus? Like, Holy Spirit, there's so many places I could sit. Why am I sitting here? And I felt this inspiration saying, because there's something I need to show you on the right side. And I was like,
Oh, wow.
really? So I just kept my eyes peeled on the right side. I was only looking on the right side. And when I was looking, then we turned the corner to get closer to the school. That
Mm.
the place that I filmed that came up. And I was
Oh,
looking and I
wow.
was like, that's a really good spot. Maybe I can use that. And literally, I think it was a few days later, I ended up going there like in the morning before work, and it was perfect. It was a perfect spot, and I filmed the whole thing.
Oh, man, that's awesome. It's kind of incredible because it's such a simple thing. Like sitting, like you either sit on the right or the left. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's so simple. It's kind of like, why am I on the right today? And it kind of shows how you talking to the Holy Spirit. It should be on everything, even the smallest things, and you'll get something out of it. And the Holy Spirit's going to lead you to something. So even for me, it's like, wow, there's only two places to sit, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, Holy Spirit, why am I on the right side? And she's like, it was the first seat open. But it was really like, no, there's something I want to show you. So that's incredible. And when you start doing these things and showing people, what do people say?
Well, my coworkers, when I show them the videos of me doing parkour and stuff, they're just like, "Oh my gosh!"
Yeah.
They're just shocked. Yeah, they're just shocked. They're just like, "Wow, this is amazing." Yeah.
And I know that I was learning a little bit, not parkour or anything like that, but like someone was teaching me how to do flips and stuff. And they said the back flip is easier than the front flip.
Yeah, it is.
Right. And the front flip, they're like, no, the front flip is hard. I was like, really? It would feel like just intuitively that would be the easier one to do. But they said, no, it's the back flip's easy and front flip is more difficult.
Yep.
But I see you jumping off, and doing front flips, like from the top to the bottom, like to a bottom thing. I'm just like, wow, that's incredible. And this is all within how many months?
That was the third month from when I started.
The third month.
Yeah, just over 2 months in.
Oh, wow. And so that's giving glory to God. And that was October last year.
Yeah.
That was October last year. And how far have you come so far now? It's been like another 3 4 months later now, right?
Yeah. So with parkour, I haven't been able to go out training recently just because I've been so busy, like preparing for job stuff and just with like end of the year and New Year stuff as well as my workplace. But I still feel comfortable like with movement just in general. I have learned I've been putting more energy into tricking since that time though, because with parkour, you need a good location.
Right.
It's about clearing obstacles. You pretty much interact with the obstacles. What's there will determine what you can do in a lot of cases, and how creative you can be. So having a good location that's legal to be at, not like private property or something like that,
Right.
is really important. But it's really been hard for me to find those sort of locations where I live. I mean, maybe places, maybe like perhaps in the U.S., maybe I would find better places or whatnot, or maybe in other parts of Japan. But it hasn't been easy for me to find those sort of really good locations where I can be really creative without like breaking the law in some way, right? So I ended up switching more toward tricking, because tricking, all you need is like an open space, preferably like a grass field. It's not about obstacles, it's about like momentum and movement. So I've improved much more in tricking, especially since October, than I have in parkour, just because of the availability.
Oh, wow. So then, can you so you've been doing tricking for how long now? Like your focus?
I started like officially started doing tricking. It's gonna sound kind of funny on Halloween.
On Halloween. Okay.
Yeah, like
That's not
it's
funny.
like it's funny because you do trick or
Oh,
treating.
tricking. Oh, okay.
Yeah, you do trick or
I
treating,
got it
right?
now.
You go
Yeah.
out trick or treating expecting treats, but I went
Right.
out and I got tricks.
Okay, that makes sense now. So you're doing tricking on Halloween. So
Yeah,
that's good.
so I got
And
treats.
where do you do tricking?
Well, anywhere really. Like I can do it. There's a park really close to my apartment where I do it. I can go to the parkour gym. They have like a matted area, like a floor, like a gymnastic style floor area where you can do it. There are like other acrobatics gyms in certain parts of Japan. I actually just went to one yesterday, and where you can use like air tracks, which are like kind of like slightly bouncy like tracks, where you can train on to get more like height when you want to practice flips and stuff. You
Mm.
can literally do it anywhere there's open space and preferably like grass or like some soft like, surface.
But how do you actually learn it? Like, do you have a teacher, or like how would you? Because I wouldn't even think to myself, what would I do to train to do a front flip? Like that's like it would just be too scary to do it.
Yeah. The two things well, I think the three things you would absolutely need if you want to learn tricking are some sort of teacher, whether
Mm.
it's through YouTube videos or through like a legitimate like instructor that's there to help you. You definitely would need someone to teach you how to do it, because if you don't know how to do it, you're probably going to hurt yourself.
Right.
And the second thing you would need is a safe place to practice.
Mm.
Now you could, if you have an old mattress, then using an old mattress and putting it out so you can use that as a landing, or being in a sandbox, because sandboxes are good at absorbing impact as well.
Right.
Having a safe place to practice is important because there's the risk involved when you do tricking. So
Right.
if you're not prepared, and like if that sandbox or that mattress isn't there as the insurance for you, then when you're doing the trick, you're taking the risk, and if you fail, then you have to take the brunt of that
Right.
the brunt of that damage. So having that safe place to practice will make it easier for you to gain confidence and to be safe even if you make mistakes.
So who's your teacher?
YouTube, and then some of the instructors at the parkour gym that I usually go to.
Oh, okay. So then you will have someone who's kind of hands-on too, just to kind of fix you up in certain areas and stuff, right?
Yeah, I don't do private lessons, but during the open gym times, like the instructors are usually there, so I can ask like for little tips, like, okay, what should I focus on when I do a back handspring, or when I'm doing this butterfly twist, or when I'm doing this like backflip full twist, which is like a 360 backflip kind of thing. Like, what
Right.
should I focus on? How should I twist? And they help me and go through like the steps and like teach me how to like twist and whatnot. So
Have you had any have you had any realizations from it? Like doing
yeah,
tricking and stuff? Yeah.
yeah, so many. Oh my gosh, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
of course.
share something with everyone here because it's really interesting. Like this is a completely different where a lot of people aren't doing this, especially in Providence. So, like, what kind of realizations have you gotten from this?
Oh man, there's so many. Like with anything you do, there are realizations to be had as long as you can
Mm.
connect it in some way to the word or to faith or to life or to God. There's so many realizations you can have. But one of the realizations that I've had, this was actually at the end of the year last year. There is a Sunday message that was talking about. I don't remember the exact title of it, but I remember the point that connects to the story, which is we should finish off the year 2021 well, and with
Mm.
that momentum, go into 2022.
Uh,
That statement. I remember that statement because when I heard that statement, I immediately thought of tricking because it's all about building momentum. So I was like,
right.
oh, hold up. In that case, let me go out and do tricking today. So that after service, I went out and did tricking. and and it was, I really the whole time kept in mind the word momentum. I was like,
Mm.
I want to end 2021 well, and so through tricking, I can realize more about the importance of momentum. And actually, that day, there was a trick that I had never tried before. And obviously, because of that, I'd never landed because I never tried it. But it's called a corkscrew or a cork.
Huh.
And it's basically where you kick your leg. Like I use my right leg. You kick your leg, you jump, and you do like a twist like 360 twist as you're doing a backflip, and then you land.
You got a video?
Yeah.
I'm just sitting
Yeah.
there like you're going, you're gonna this, and then you're gonna twist, and you're gonna land like going, what?
Yeah.
All
Well, I won't
right.
show the. Oh, don't show the video just yet, though, because I'm going to
Right.
explain. Okay, I'm explain how
Okay.
it relates to the story. Okay.
Right.
So yeah, I had never done this corkscrew or the cork before, but I'd seen it and I was like, well, I would always think that's so cool. I want to try that. And so I went to this acrobat gym after service, and I started doing a bunch of practice tricks and whatnot. And then there was another guy there who actually like went and did a cork or corkscrew.
Right.
Whoa, okay, I want to try that. But when I started trying to do it, I used a momentum building move called a J step, and all this will come up in a video, like in a few videos, like in just a moment. But a J step is basically like you're standing here and you step out with one leg, and then you step in with another leg, and you use that. It's like you're stepping in a J shape, out and then in, and you use that momentum and you kick your leg to go into a trick.
Oh, okay.
So you build momentum by the steps you take before.
Okay. So I understand the momentum part. It's of course we need to visual, like we'll see the visual, which will make it a lot easier for us to see. But I'm getting the point. You need the momentum to pull off that trick, right?
Yeah. But whenever I would do this like momentum building move, this J step, I couldn't get enough momentum to completely land the trick. And so I tried over and over and over again, but I just failed again and again and again. And it got worse and worse. And I was like, what is going on? What can I do? And that's when I realized I need something that gives me more momentum.
Right.
So what I did is I changed up the move, and we'll show a video of this once I finish this explanation. I think would be best. But basically, it's called a scoot.
A scoot.
Yeah, a scoot. So we'll just have to show the video, otherwise it's not going to make any sense. Let's
All right.
put the video in here. Put the video.
Yeah, I think most people are confused by this point right now.
Yeah, we'll put the video.
Most of us, yeah. Okay, let's take a look at the video.
Yeah, so the first video is a video of me doing the J step. And in that video, I couldn't build enough momentum. As you see, I fell down and I was like,
right.
Oh. But the second one was when I decided to change up the move at the beginning, which was now a scoot, where I put my hand down and I swing around it. And that gave me enough momentum, like plenty of momentum, so that I could actually completely flip and land the trick.
And this is like the advice was given from that person who did it, or
no? This was completely from the Sunday message.
Oh wow!
The momentum. I needed more momentum, and I realized, and so I tried different things to build more momentum before doing the corkscrew. It wasn't advice given. It was just that inspiration, I guess, that came from the Sunday message. And when I did it, I landed it, and I was like, "Yo, yes!" And of course, I was happy. But through that, what I realized was much more valuable. What I realized was, just doing something, just any old thing, at the end of 2021 to go into 2022 in the sense of, in terms of faith or in terms of your relationship with God or whatever it may be, evangelism or managing yourself, whatever, it's not always going to be enough.
Right.
But if you really want to come solidly into the new year, then just like I needed to change up the way I built momentum for the trick, I need to do something that will give me that push so I can really come solidly in my relationship with God and my sense and value of the word, and in the way that I put it into practice. And I need to do something that will help me to fully and powerfully come into 2022. I realized through that.
Oh, wow. And then what did you do differently for 2022?
For 2022, I focused a lot on not spreading my, putting all my eggs in like too many baskets. Usually people say don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Right.
For me, it was like I was trying to do too many things. Like trying to do a bunch of like Bible study, like teaching Bible studies, and then like helping others to realize about the word, and then like doing all this and this at my church, and then doing this for work, and then just spreading myself super thin by doing a lot of things in all these areas. But I started to realize like, wow, if I really want to have a solid life of faith, and if I really want to, um, you know, keep this momentum going from what I've learned and realized up to this point, I need to look for where I should invest that time and energy most. So I started focusing much more on preparing, preparing well to teach Bible studies.
Mm.
I started. I didn't stop doing my best at work, but I started to discern where I should put my energy in my workplace as well.
Oh, wow.
Because if I just like pour in all this time and energy, hey, teacher Aaron, can you do this? Yeah, of course I'll do it. Hey, can you do this? Yeah, I'll do it. Hey, can you do this? Yeah, I'll do it. Then like all of that time and energy gets taken from me, when not all the time the things that the things that I'm asked to do aren't always things that I specifically will need to do. So
Right.
learning like how to discern like, oh yeah, this is something that I should do or can do, and this is something that should be left to a different teacher or a teacher in a different position. um,
Right.
Kind of learning to use my energy and my time more valuably, just to improve the balance that I have in my life. There's some of the things that I did to help me really get more comfortably into 2022.
Oh, that's awesome. And what is it for you? What is your next step? What's the next big trick that you're aiming towards?
Like figurative trick or like actual trick?
Actual, the real one. Like, what are you going to try to do? Like a triple flip or whatever you call it? I don't know.
Oh, okay. I don't know the actual name of the trick.
Mm,
I think it's called a cork chain.
mm.
But it's basically the corkscrew that I did, to do that and land on one leg and then immediately kick up into another one.
Another corkscrew
Yeah.
again?
So corkscrew, 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 like to
Oh
land
my
it. And
goodness.
with that momentum that you built from the first corkscrew, you land on one
Yeah.
foot and you immediately go into the next one.
Wow. So the interesting thing here is like in the beginning, that first corkscrew is like, how do you get that one done? And then all of a sudden, if you can get that done really well and know all the principles, then you can start doing multiple stuff that, like in the beginning, you would have think is impossible more than anything
Mhm.
else.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, that's incredible. And do you have an eventual goal? What you want to do with like tricking and parkour?
At the moment, through talking with someone else in my church,
Mm,
one thing I realized is that it'd be really hard for me personally to make a full-on career out of parkour, though it is something I
uh,
really love and I'm passionate about. So what I ended up deciding is, because the person that I talked to from my church, he's like one of the top cyclists in Japan. Like
oh
I
wow.
think in a recent competition he got like second place of like, I think he got third place overall or fifth place overall or something like that, and he got like second place among the people who are from Tokyo or live in Tokyo.
Oh wow.
He's like, and he's still like fairly young. He's like early 20s. But yeah, he works. He has a job, but he also trains like professionally in a sense as like a cyclist. And one
Right.
thing he said that really impacted me, um, was that he really loves cycling and he wants to see how far he can take it, but he doesn't want to just fully just focus on cycling. He wants to make sure he has a career and whatnot as well. And when I heard that, I was like, you know what, that feels like something I could also, resonate with, something I would want to do.
Mm,
And that I want to make sure I have a career, a way to make an income, support myself in the future, potentially support a family and whatnot. But while having that and that stability and that understanding of like society and how I can benefit it and whatnot, to at the same time invest, my free time and whatnot into training parkour and tricking. I think that'd be really fun. At least to be physically fit, because it really gets you fit. So
right. Well, I think you just watching it, like there's no other way you couldn't be unfit and do that. It's
yeah.
impossible, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, I'm super grateful and thankful for this time you're spending like in this artist series. We're talking about tricking and parkour, and I hope that a lot of people will be able to kind of see how true it is when Sunseam says giving glory to God is you can do it from your individuality. Doesn't
Yeah.
have to be singing on stage, right? Doesn't
Mhm.
have to be like what a dancing on stage, but it could be even just going to a park and doing parkour and tricking and give glory to God in this way too. And it's such an when I look at the tricks you're doing, it's such an intensive sport that you'd have to be just as or even more athletic than some of these other sports too.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. So this brings us to the end of today's artist series here with Aaron Aubry. But of course, first and foremost, we want to give thanksgiving and glory to the Holy Trinity for being with us during this entire interview. So thank you so much, Holy Trinity. And secondly, of course, we have Aaron here. Thank you so much, bro, for just doing this artist series. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I do have one last thing that I feel inspired to say. Can
Awesome. Go ahead.
Okay. The one thing I'm so glad I just felt reminded to say is that I will be honest with everyone. When I started tricking and parkour, my faith improved.
Oh, wow.
And the reason I say that is that, my intention wasn't just to kind of do it like half-heartedly just because it's fun, but I wanted to inspire people through it. I wanted to help people to see and feel God's love, to see and feel the Lord's mentality that I had while doing it.
Really?
If I want to do that, then I need to have good faith, right? You can't like have horrible faith and sleep during service or not pray ever, and then go out and do parkour and then give people these stories and testimonies about how you were doing it together with God or the Holy Spirit or the Holy Son. You can't do that if your faith is bad, or if your faith is, I can't say bad, but if your faith isn't stable per se.
Right.
So as when I started parkour, it really helped me to kick my faith into the next gear, because it made me think, oh, wow, if I want people to be inspired, not just physically, but in faith through this, I need to have faith at that level.
Right.
So it really, one of the other things I forgot to say I was really thankful for was that parkour and tricking gave me that strength to bring my faith up to the next level, because I wanted to testify to people about God and about, the word through parkour.
Awesome. I think that's something that's really important too, is these things that we do giving glory to God actually make our faith better. Yeah, I just started working out again, so I'm getting pretty excited, because the more and more pictures I look at of myself, the more I see how out of shape I am. And I'm like, I got to give glory through my body, literally. So I started exercising again too. So, and I know that this is helping my faith also. It makes me really excited to work out in the morning too. And it helps me to wake up even earlier. All right. So that was the last testimony. And I think something that everyone is going to benefit from. Everyone, thank you so much for joining us on our third artist series for the Morning Star Drive. Everyone have an amazing week, and we'll see you guys again next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
When I look at you, it's like I got the whole room on the tip of my finger, and I'm pointing it right back to you. When I look at you, it's like I got the whole you.